Good morning. It's an opening on running, but I'm pleasure to meet you. First, thank you for coming. I'm delighted to launch the third edition of the Open World Forum, taking place over the next 2 days. First of all, I'd like to thank all the organizers and our main contributors and sponsors. In particular, the Paris Town Hall, the Région Île-de-France, the Systematic and Cap Digital Innovation Clusters, and the Calypso Consortium. A whole very active ecosystem that makes Europe and France one of the pillars of the free open world and the most contributing region worldwide. The third edition of the Open World Forum promises to be a good vintage, as much by the number of attendees as by the conferences presented. Our goal this year is to create the world's leading summit, bringing together decision makers and communities to cross-fertilize open technological, economic, and social initiatives to build the digital future. And I will say, especially, an open digital future. As we know, the future of our society depends more and more on a free open source software. Everywhere in our information system, in our technological products, even in our economic and social organizations, innovation and growth today are powered by technologies and ideas coming from the free open source software. And as the free open source powers today the three spheres of open innovation, open enterprise, and open society, I think that free open source is powering free disruption today, and I would like to share them with you. The first disruption concerns the digital revolution. We strongly, in our ecosystem, believe it. Year on year, the free open source movement is establishing itself as an invisible engine driving the digital revolution. Being already the hidden backbone of key digital players like Google, Amazon, Facebook, or Wikipedia, it's now starting to fundamentally transform the whole fabric of technology and knowledge and the way businesses and the people use it. It's also the catalyst for numerous emerging trends: cloud computing, mobility, Internet of Things, new generation of forge, and so on. This opening up colossal opportunities and also giving rise to some difficult challenges. How can organizations and individuals alike take advantage of the free open source way to reinforce, to strengthen their competitiveness and support innovation? How can public institutions and governments make use of it to kickstart the economy and employment? This is to explore these issues that the Open World Forum was founded in 2008 and continues to being held for this third edition. The second disruption I will talk concerns business model. The free open source industry, by making of the generic, seems to destroy a piece of the IT economy. But somewhere, it also facilitates the emergence of a new numeric revolution, the access to knowledge, the access to technology, which allow to create some value somewhere else. We are indeed in a logic of value-creating destruction, which involves innovation, according to the famous economist Joseph Schumpeter. Moreover, behind many old digital revolutions, we find free open source software components. We find new players emerging relating to open source, directly such as Red Hat, many ISV and open source integrators, or indirectly such as Google, Facebook, free, which will have never existed without open source. The emergence of new players depending on this flourishing and rich ecosystem is the origin of a creative power by far superior to any independent technology player on the market. This is the power of communities, relying on mechanism of collective intelligence, which is the real DNA of the open source model. This power is by far superior to any model based on the patentability of languages of software. In publishing their software, the open source players themselves, in this way of thinking, consider software as a common heritage. And the third disruption sorry. The third description, the slide before was the second description, but it's interesting. Description 3 concerns individual and social models. Beyond the technological sphere, the free open source software and its social innovation models are diffusing themselves into other fields, such as a large organization governance or social, ecological, and political uses. It's now certain that open attitude is more than a passing fashion. It is a new frontier of society. No economic and social sector can ignore it. When it comes to considering new developments, whatever their side, which was even a few years ago the exception, is now becoming the rule. Truly, open is the future. As a conclusion, we hope these 2 days will offer the opportunity to decrypt, to analyze main trends, and consolidate a certain number of initiatives throughout numerous meetings, international conferences, and think tanks. All these initiatives contribute in the reinforcement of the image and position of free open source software as an industrial and cultural player in our digital world, not only in terms of resistance or competition, but also with an open and positive and constructive approach. With its 15 keynotes, 20 conferences, 8 think tanks, and 180 speakers from more than 30 countries, the OWF 10 should give you an ample food for thinking. Our goal: create a space where people can think ahead, identify key trends, challenges, and opportunities. It is the event of a global ecosystem for our global world. I'm proud, on behalf of the OWF community, to welcome you at the Open World Forum and wish you a pleasant stay in Paris. Thank you.
Merci.